This is BNN, the Bloviation Nation Network. Fitness tracking has reached the next level. The UnfitBit Diminished Power 3 is creating a buzz on your wrist. The Diminished Power 2 was known for its limited features and impossibly illegible face. The UnfitBit Diminished Power 3 has a slightly larger face that can almost be read in low-light situations and, just like you, constantly needs to be recharged with additional power. With new features such as meal reminders, dessert reminders, and nap reminders. The Reclinometer helps you reach your resting goals and keeps constant watch on your sedentary score. Want a personal EKG? The UnfitBit Diminished Power 3 comes with a pre-programmed course on how to read an EKG in case you're able to get one, and will automatically place a call to the nearest insurance-approved medical customer service line. And of course, the UnfitBit Diminished Power 3 has an enhanced sports tracking feature that you can sync up with your TV and be able to track your heart rate and blood pressure as you watch. Be inspired to do nothing, move less, care less, listen to your body, stay rested, and wear the UnfitBit Diminished Power 3, the next level in fitness tracking. All right, well, here we are, ready for another exciting meeting of the Dullards Club for men and women too. Hello there, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm well, unless you're talking to our viewers and listeners. I'm sure they're well too. Let's hope that they are. Hey, before we get too far, I want to remind our friends and listeners, wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's YouTube, our website, thedullardsclub.com, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, do us a favor. Just leave us a like or a comment. Let us know you're out there. We appreciate it, and we take some comfort in knowing that you're enjoying it. Onward.
And there you go. For some reason, I thought this would be a great episode to call the fitness episode. Because
yes.
I was thinking about how unfit I have become.
I think about that often. I have in the past taken it a step further, and I'm going to share a little story with you. You may be familiar with Charles Atlas, the kick the sand in your face, back of the comic book things.
Of course.
Well, I got sucked into that back in the day, back in my youth. And
I just don't picture you as a 97-pound weakling.
I was more like a 150-pound weakling, but, at that age. And I didn't have the pretty girl next to me on the beach blanket either, so that's another whole thing. In any event, I decided, you know what, I saved up my pennies, and I forget what it cost at the time. And there was a little bit of a personal thing because I chose to go the Charles Atlas route. My older brother, he was more into the weightlifting, and that was the big difference between the Joe Weider business and then the Charles Atlas business, because Charles Atlas was speaking my language. Other than the course, I didn't have to buy anything.
So what was his thing? I mean, if it wasn't weights, what was Charles Atlas?
Charles Atlas's thing was what he called, and I think he probably trademarked it, dynamic tension. Dynamic tension pits muscle against muscle. It's like isometrics, but it combines isometrics, isotonics, and other things. And it was supposed to be better for you in terms of, certainly you don't have to buy equipment. The most equipment you have is a couple of chairs if you want to put them down and do push-ups. Or you got a wall you're going to lean against. But more often than not, it was, pitting muscle against muscle. But it had more. It had, sleep habits, how important sleep is. Food, eating, what foods to avoid, digestion, breathing is a big thing. Simple things like, I remember, this is how long ago, however it was 50 years ago or more, when you walk, really stretch your calf muscles. A simple walk, you can do it and get a little more muscle building that way by stretching your calves. Nobody knows you're doing it, even sitting at the desk. You hear about that now and then, but this was back before it was everywhere.
And it was a more innocent time, because certainly
Except for the bullies kicking sand in your face. Yeah.
well, you would be hard pressed though to try to sell a weight loss or an exercise program that really focused on sleeping and breathing.
Well, that's a good.
That sounds like my kind of plan.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Well, it's funny because in researching this, I was wondering about the differences between the Charles Atlas thing and the Joe Weider thing. I found a very interesting thing where they were comparing the two. Atlas was known for his dynamic tension principles and mail order courses, while Weider focused on competitive bodybuilding and developing training systems. Weider recalled encountering Atlas in the late 1950s and being impressed by Atlas's successful mail order business model, noting that Atlas was making more money than Weider despite not needing to sell barbells like he did. So It was really interesting. There was a competition, and as we know, there were others out there as well. I think you probably know of a few more others out there besides Atlas and Weider.
Well, you mentioned Joe Weider, of course, and he was a mentor to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, I think I read something about that. Yes.
Yeah, they encountered each other in Austria or wherever, and Arnold took up the mantle and went crazy with it and became Mr. something or other. I think Joe
he was
Weider,
Olympia for a while. I think he was Universal Olympia, World, or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that was Joe Weider's thing. I think he actually created that whole.
It was more the competition, that kind of thing, the bodybuilding per se, as opposed to health and exercise.
What do you think Charles Atlas's real name was?
I didn't find statistics about that. When I asked ChatGPT, I thought they would give me his real name, and they didn't. But every time they mentioned Charles Atlas or Joe Weider, I got little quotes or asterisks around their name to imply that wasn't their real names. Although I think Weider probably was.
Yeah, I wouldn't have changed my name to Joe Weider. He was probably born with that one.
I took the Atlas and Weider thing one step further, and I asked ChatGPT who would win a fight between Charles Atlas and Joe Weider. And what do you think if you had to place a bet?
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to say Charles Atlas. I'm
going to say because I would have gone the other way because of the whole bodybuilding thing. First of all, I was surprised because when you call that up, you get a lot of stats. They were both 5'10". They were both 5'10", and you think of these, monsters. Weider was 190 pounds in his prime. Atlas was 180 in his prime. But it did say, get to the bottom line, who would win? While Joe Weider built an empire and changed the fitness world through promotion and business acumen, Charles Atlas trained for physical resilience and toughness. So in a straight-up old-school fight, Atlas, in quotes, probably has the slight advantage, the edge in conditioning, combat readiness, and raw strength training for physical performance, not just aesthetics.
Wasn't Charles Atlas, wasn't he the guy that pulled a train or
yes,
something
he did
like
a lot
that?
of that. In fact, one of these things it says he was known for hands-on with his own strength regimen and reportedly pulled off real feats of strength, like resisting a horse's pull in exhibitions. But I think there was pulling a train was another, and another person who pulled the train was our friend on Saturday morning TV or whatever it was.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Jack LaLanne. Jack LaLanne with his dog, Happy.
I forgot all about the dog. I don't remember. I remember him with a one piece, like not a leotard. Was it a leotard?
Well, it was a kind of a man-tard. I'm not sure what you would call that particular item of clothing.
Up the top, right?
But it was something that probably wouldn't be seen today on the beach or anywhere else. At least
I think it had stirrups from his feet too, right? So he wouldn't when he was doing his stretches. But that was a whole thing, man, and he had his own money-making business as well.
Well, he was the original TV fitness guru,
yes.
and again, it all started out in the early '50s when TV was just in its infancy, and then women finally got into it a little bit later on. A person by the name of Debbie Drake.
Well, you got to get the women out there to get the men viewers.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't remember Debbie Drake. I remember more the Suzanne Summers with her Thigh Master for different reasons, and Jane Fonda with her Leotards for different reasons.
Well, I think we have exhausted the topic. And
I'm exhausted just talking about it. That's my workout for the day.
I know. And even though you might think we've been doing this right all along, it's time to circle the drain. So,
yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Why don't we do that?
Wrap it up.
Well, you survived the fitness episode. Let us circle the drain. Don, I was looking at some stories, and a couple of things just caught my eye here. Did you hear that some Chinese astronauts who had been up in space for like 6 months finally came back down?
No.
The question that I have is, why does China have astronauts? We have astronauts. Everybody has astronauts except the Soviet Union or Russia or whatever you call it. They have cosmonauts. How do they get to keep the cosmonauts?
I don't know, but you're right. They all have astronauts except for Russia. Because we mentioned Craigslist once in a while, and I was looking for a tradesperson. I don't know how I got to this particular category. It came up in a word search somehow. Mobile massage for women. For women. The numeral 4.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw something about that. Yeah.
So I'm reading, I'm saying, well, this is interesting for women. And then it says at the bottom, in small print, it should be noted that I am a masseur, a male. So the 4 was in lieu of FOR. It's mobile massage for women. Not for women, it's for women. He's a guy who bought himself a table with a face hole in it or whatever.
We're not going to get into that. Yeah, let's just go with a face hole. I like that. I've got one for you. There's an urgent recall on nearly 2 million eye drops that have been sold. Just a minor issue. They could make you go blind.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Really?
So if you got these particular eye drops, and if I was really providing some kind of public service, I could tell you what they were.
What but about to say? And they are. One parting shot was watching something about old music. It was a little tidbit fact that was thrown out there, and I went, really? Remember the song All Right Now by Free? I didn't realize the lead singer is the lead singer in Bad Company, Paul Rogers.
Someday we're going to have to do a show on the genesis of each band and where these people came from and what they did before.
Well, that would be a really good thing, being radio relics. You'd think we would have some insight into that. You'd think I would have known.
Or just maybe a bare memory or something.
Well,
but at any rate, we have to go.
Speaking of which, if you, our viewers and listeners, want to suggest things, if you think that's a good topic, let us know. Let us know about anything you like or dislike. Like and subscribe and follow.
You can like us. You can even tolerate us if you wanted to. Is there a tolerate button on any of these things?
No, I think it's one or the other.
In any case, this meeting of the Dullards Club for Men and Women too is hereby adjourned. So take care. We will talk to you soon. And please remember, stay dull.
We still didn't do it in unison, did we?
No, we did it. We were close.